My dream guy is destined for an arranged marriage.
Is it with you?
About a month ago, I, 26 female, met this amazing guy, 30 male, on Hinge. He's an experienced attorney with an Ivy League background, plays both saxophone and drums in 2 separate bands, and has a tantalizing British accent.
This guy's not real.
Hoo-wee! That's a catfish.
That guy's a fake.
I would have had something funny to say, but I had to squeeze a sneeze out of my nostrils.
Squeeze a sneeze.
Yeah, I just had to pinch a sneeze.
I'm in my last year of law school myself, so we quickly connected on the shared challenges of the legal field. Don't be a lawyer. By the way, this comes from Throwaway 2022-7, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, after some chatting, he calls and asks me on a date, and I say yes. The call itself was great, lighthearted and fun, and I start getting really excited about meeting him. Later that week, he picks me up for our first date, and we go to dinner. We have all types of conversations, from playful banter to strongly held values. I immediately feel comfortable with him. It was like reuniting with a long-lost friend. Dinner goes so well that we decided to go to a wine chocolate jazz bar. Wine and chocolate jazz bar? Can we go comment on OP's post and ask where this is? Wine and chocolate jazz bar?
Sophia, we're in Los Angeles. I guarantee you'll find it around
Wine
here.
and chocolate jazz bar. I can't even find jazz bars that are like $80.
Why do we need wine and chocolate? What are we, children?
I just need chocolate. Chocolate and
Why
jazz.
don't we get intoxicated off the smooth sounds of jazz?
The dulcet tones of jazz. And sit in the back talking and laughing until we realize we were the last people in the place. We go back to my place and watch some NPR Tiny Desk over wine.
Was this written just to, like, trigger you? She's shaking. Sophia is shaking.
It's like those TikToks where people are like on the phone with, like, they're not actually on the phone, but they're like, I just started saying all of my husband's favorite words to see if he looks up. This is with me.
Yeah.
You want to do go-karts after that?
That's what they're doing this on purpose to you.
And before long, we end up having mind-blowing spicy sleep. Last week, I was at a social event and decided to reach out to see if he was available to hang out. He invited me for drinks or to come over to watch this D&D show.
But she's actually losing it, folks.
What is this? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
I think OP's living your dream.
What is going on? We had previously discussed. I picked the latter. I mean, they already said he was British.
Called a Range Rover.
Is this Tom Holland? I show up to his place. When I come inside, he hands me pajamas to get comfy in and asks if I'd like anything to drink. I won't go into too much detail, but we had a great night together, and I slept over. Okay. So we went out of town for Easter and just got back yesterday. I texted him to see how everything went, and he calls me. We again have a great conversation until he informs me he wants to talk to me about something serious. Well, that serious thing ends up being that he was actually on a date this past weekend with a girl. No! A girl that his parents are setting him up with for purposes of an arranged marriage. No! He tells me he has big decisions to make, but he really likes me, so wanted to be upfront about the situation.
I feel like this is a setup for some kind of financial manipulation. He's going to be like, but I can't go. They froze my finances, so if you can give me $5,000, I'll come back to the States.
Dang.
Or what?
I
No,
hope not.
he's back there right now,
I
right?
hope
He came
not.
back. He went there for Easter, and he's back now.
Yeah, Katie Palace says, Sophia likes wine? No, I don't. I don't like wine.
Sophia doesn't like any drinks.
I don't like alcohol.
I'm moving at the end of next month myself, so it's already going to be difficult for us. Given the situation, he says we can either 1, just be friends, or 2, continue to see each other romantically until I move, or this arranged marriage thing gets serious, or 3, stop seeing each other altogether. Don't do it.
What's up with the arrange? What is he, like a prince or something? Like, can he not get out of this?
Yeah.
I mean, even if
it's
he
not
was,
forced,
he
it's an arranged
could.
marriage. He doesn't have to do it. He also mentioned that if we continue romantically, he knows he's really going to like me and it might be painful to part ways. Then
Don't. What?
I suppose my question is, should I continue to see him until I leave? We have such an amazing connection. Being around him is like a breath of fresh air. Or should I spare both of us the inevitable heartbreak and call it off? And there are some comments, but truthfully, if he's already telling you that he's got one foot out the door, don't continue your relationship with the man. You had a great date. That's great. Don't continue.
I just need the info. Like,
Yeah, why?
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 Why are you in an arranged marriage? Why are you, like, not rebelling against that? I don't know if you've heard of this concept of free will.
Yo, I'm pulling a rare special item right now.
I don't know
Yeah.
if the monarchy is just really stepping on you over there. Or no, he's got a British accent, so he might not.
He's British.
He's British.
Doesn't mean
But
it
can't
doesn't
you
mean it's not a cultural
be-
thing.
Can't you not be English if you're British?
What?
Does the crown?
British?
I
What?
don't understand the British Isles, but I do understand
I don't know what your
that
question
I
there was.
need more information. He's literally being like, "Oh, I like you so much," but it's like, we're probably just gonna get closer and have to break up because I'm in an arranged marriage.
I mean, 678 says it's a cultural thing, a lot of pressure. Probably. It's probably like his family's pressuring him to do this thing, and he's like, I have to listen to them. Yeah. Comments. Comment 1 says, sounds like this relationship has an expiration date. Yup. He obviously doesn't have any intentions of stopping the arranged marriage. Besides, it's only been a month. Honestly, it sounds like you're putting this guy on a pedestal, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're not the only girl he's saying this to. Dude didn't just find out he was getting an arranged marriage. Come on now, OP. None of the 3 options he gave you ended with you two together, which says a lot in itself.
yeah, that was a good one.
Reply, this is good advice. I would stop the relationship now. If you think you can use the time remaining to make him fall in love with you and dip out of the marriage arranged by his parents, it's not going to happen. You'll just get hurt, even worse. The guy shouldn't even be dating like that if he's got an impending marriage. Seems like he's having a last hurrah before matrimony. And there is an update, but yeah, you should just cut it off right now. Because literally the only thing that this can be is casual, and you already know that you like him a lot. So take yourself out of this. Update. My fellow Redditors, thank you for the advice. To the people who were cruel and rude, you could have been nicer, but some points were made. It's funny how much emotions can muddy your judgment when you're in it. After reading through all of the comments, consulting my friends, and some meditation, I came up with a list of questions I wanted answered before making a final decision.
Yeah.
I then texted him and told him I had questions that need answers, and he said, love it. So we hop on the phone, and after making some jokes about conducting a direct examination and court being in session, we get serious, and I start asking him some difficult questions. He answered openly and honestly, even when it required him to be vulnerable and admit to some faults. He acknowledged before I even asked that it was unfair and selfish for him to get on Hinge, but he had intended for it to only be casual and didn't expect to make such a strong connection with me. Keep in mind that I also wanted this to be casual because I knew I was going to be moving out of town. I just don't think either of us anticipated enjoying each other's company so much. It was uncanny almost. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that someone I've only been on 2 dates with has made such an impression on me. I've been on plenty of dates with other men, but none of them have felt so comfortable. Again, it felt like we were old friends. When I asked about where he was in the arranged marriage process, he told me he had known his parents were looking for a wife for him since he broke up with his girlfriend in December, and he had known before meeting me that he was supposed to meet this girl in April. He had stopped talking to any other girls other than me, but he just hadn't expected to like me so much, especially after our first date. And then he told me we couldn't see each other anymore. He said he made a commitment and he wouldn't want to tarnish his family's reputation or dishonor his potential future wife. To which I was like, okay, fair enough, considering I'm moving and we've only been on 2 dates, no matter how great they were. But I will say I don't think I realized how concrete or set in stone things were with the arranged marriage thing. Truly misunderstood the process. I have friends with arranged marriages, and theirs went down a bit differently. I wouldn't have considered even being with him if I thought for sure he was going to end up with this girl.
Is this guy like in Bridgerton? Like, what's. Upon thy honor, I would not besmirch thy honor, dear maiden,
I think
for
it
being
just,
like,
yeah.
maybe I don't want to marry you because I'm in love with someone, actually.
Well, I don't think he's in love.
Well, we all know they are.
Dates.
Just like we all know you guys are dating.
My understanding was that he was just going to keep going on dates his parents set up until he met a match. But it seems more like he has to see it through all the way with this girl and only break it off if there's a major issue. Crazy. Anyways, he was really sad about breaking it off and told me some flattering things about what he liked about me, and told me that he's not choosing her over me by our respective merits, but more so out of duty. and not to take this as a
Oh
rejection.
my God. Can we normalize breaking away from like making, I don't know, one of the biggest, most important interpersonal relationships you have in your life
A duty?
to
Yeah.
someone other than yourself?
If you don't want to do it, I can't understand this type of cultural pressure that this guy seems to be under, but, if you don't want to do it. Then he asked if we could stay friends and just be platonic. He even said he would be cool talking about the guys I'm dating or my career or my hobbies. I told him I'd give him an answer when passion's cooled because as of now, I'm still very attracted to him, and having any type of in-depth intellectual conversation with him would not help alleviate those feelings for me. One last thing to address. I didn't mean dream guy in the way that he is perfect or even the right fit for me. Obviously, he's not either of those things. I was just trying to convey my excitement about how I had found someone that checked a lot of boxes for me and connected with me in a way that made me seen and appreciated for exactly who I am. And I think he felt the same way. We were on the same wavelength about so many of our values: religion, economics, politics, social circles, philosophy, music, art, mental health, careers. That's a rare thing to share with another person, at least in my experience. I'm a bit sad about the outcome, but I'm moving forward. By the way, moving forward, you should listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to this story. Any final thoughts?
I think it's whack for him to be like, we can still be friends.
Yeah, no, I don't think you should do that.
It's
I
like,
think that's a bad idea.
pick a lane, my dude. I have a duty to not be with you, but also I'll just like say you're my friend and then secretly maintain a relationship with you. You have no honor. If you don't want to do the honor, don't do the honor thing. You were already out here trying to clap on Hinge, and then it just so happened you really fell for somebody, it feels like.
It's
in
not
2
quite
days.
honorable for you to be like, I'm going to be in this full-on relationship
Yeah.
with this person and then go on Hinge.
But before I do that,
Yeah.
I'm a smash. No.
The pajamas were his own pajamas, not another woman's. Arranged marriage is still very much a thing, unfortunately, but arranged marriage doesn't always mean the person will not fall in love with their spouse or be happy. Also, I don't want to be clear, there's no problem with arranged marriages as long as everyone involved is on board. Arranged marriages are like a very old thing. They've been around for a really long time, and there are a lot of, families that do it from a place of I know this person would be great for my child, and my child really cares about finding a person in their culture, and it's not necessarily bad as long as everyone's on board and it's not coming from a place of I have to do this or my family's gonna cast me out.
Let's just keep it at matchmaking, huh, folks? Let's keep it at matchmaking and not, if you don't do this, our lives are ruined. No.
Yeah. The family still tries to pick a good personality fit for their children, and they can say no. There are just some heavy social consequences that stem from the lingering archaic caste system in India. I'm not materialistic or superficial. The accolades I described him having are objectively impressive, so much so some of y'all thought he was a fake person. I like what I like, and I have standards. Those are things I like about him, not why I liked him. Very different. And that's the end of that story. Yeah, I think that if he's got, seems to be pretty set on this arranged marriage. So I think that it would not be a good idea for you to try and maintain any sort of relationship with him, which sucks, but how it is. But that's the end of that story. We've got another one, though.
My arranged marriage is starting to turn miserable.
Then let's arrange a divorce.
And there's a trigger warning for verbal abuse. I, 20 female, was born and raised in Canada, but my parents are from Asia. My parents arranged for me to marry a guy, 24 male, of their choosing from their home country. By the way, this comes from user Midnight Eternal, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. OP says, at the time, I was pretty naive and agreed without much thought, thinking it was far in the future. 4 years passed, we went on vacation to their country, my third time ever being there, and there I was, about to be married off to a stranger. Even before that, wait, so you agreed to this at 16? You can't really agree to that at 16.
Illegal?
Well, no, you implicitly agreed at 16, and then
not
4
to-
years
okay,
went by.
Okay, I see.
And it's like,
Well, any contract with a minor is not legally binding.
have you heard of this thing called changing your mind?
Please change your mind.
Even before the marriage, things went wrong repeatedly. The wedding nearly got called off 4 times because my husband's family either insulted mine or tried to weasel out of paying their share of the wedding expenses. At this point, I had strong misgivings about these people, but my parents assured me it was all misunderstandings and that they were good people, just sensitive about money. My family isn't well off, but we were slightly better off than my husband's family. My parents and his parents used to be very close, which initially led to the arranged marriage. Why are we getting our kids married like they're on a play date after daycare when they're 3 years old? Once your kids can think for themselves, you kind of are now beyond the time window where play dates and that kind of thing should be allowed, you know? I was never forced into this marriage and always believed my parents were acting in my best interest, but I felt pressured to say yes because I didn't want to disappoint them, aka you were coerced into this marriage.
Yeah.
A type of force. We got married and I spent about 40 days with my husband in his country. Having never been in a relationship before, I wasn't sure what to expect. Your parents do not deserve you.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not good at all.
He seemed nice and considerate, and while we struggled to find common ground for conversation, I enjoyed spending time with him. We had the spicy sleep once, nothing remarkable like most first times, and decided to hold off on the physical relationship while getting to know each other better. We talked about hopes, dreams, aspirations, and children. We seemed to have similar ideas about what we wanted from the relationship and life in general. When I returned to Canada, I resumed my life as a university student. My one dream as the first person in my family to graduate high school is to attend medical school. All right, Carly just walked in here and I got scared immediately. This is the last story I commented before we read it. I was like, yeah, Keon told me that he loved Carly like before they started officially dating. And then I saw you in the comments and you were like, so you did say it first. And you just walked in and I was like, oh God. I was like, she's here for me. She's here to finally eliminate me. Okay, sorry. I'm incredibly close to achieving this goal with a near perfect GPA and 98th percentile MCAT score.
Dang.
This final year before applying is crucial. I've sacrificed a lot to get here, and as a result, I'm extremely busy and can't talk to my husband often. I warned him before leaving that I wanted this more than anything in the world, and he said he would always support me. Great, the stranger you know for less than a month and a half has said that. We can stake our lives on that.
Yeah.
But once I became less responsive on the phone, he grew clingy, constantly asking, why aren't you answering me? What are you doing? Why are you ignoring me? I felt guilted into talking to him every other day before bed, which has taken a toll on my health due to sleep deprivation. 2 months into the marriage, our families had another falling out that remains unresolved. Why did they even want to do it? Your families hate each other.
That would piss me off. If the two families that literally forced us to get together didn't even like each other anymore, I'd be like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Set sail for divorce.
You made me marry this guy. You made me agree to marry this guy at 16. Now you don't even like his family?
Yeah.
What's the point?
What happened in
What's
4
the
years?
point?
My husband kept bringing this issue up, trying to get me to pick sides, but I didn't want to discuss it because I felt it had nothing to do with us and would create unnecessary conflict. Then, we had a massive, no-holds-barred argument on the phone where he insulted me, called me irresponsible and uncaring, and accused my family and me of looking down on him and his family. He brought up all the times the wedding nearly got called off and raised issues he'd never mentioned before, all very specific to his culture that I was oblivious to. His anger genuinely scared me. He yelled so loudly that I could still hear him when I put my phone on the table and walked away from it. I was deeply hurt and didn't speak to him for 2 days. He apologized, and I made it clear that I would never be able to meet his cultural expectations of what a wife should be. This incident made me seriously question our entire relationship. I thought we had a great understanding and agreed on what constitutes a good relationship, but during the argument, he seemed like a completely different person. Does anyone else have anything to say right now?
I don't think you know who he is. I think he's a stranger.
Yeah, like he's full of rage and actually secretly hates me and my family for being slightly better off than they are. His rage honestly scared me, and part of me wondered what would have happened if we'd had this fight in person. We really don't have much in common, and I have to work hard to stay engaged in conversations with him. Our parents continued fighting, God, and this is 2 months.
Yeah.
This is 2 months into what is supposed to last forever. Get out!
Yeah, get out of there.
Get out! And I don't care if your parents are like, no, we can't. I will hate you forever. Bye. Shut up, parents. Y'all
Yeah.
suck. I'm going to be a doctor.
And
I
I'm
guarantee you, once you
not need
become a
your
doctor,
help.
they're going to be like, oh, actually, we don't hate you anymore. Because
You're a
now you look
doctor.
good.
And also, we want your money.
Yeah, you look good on us. Money me.
Money, please. Thank you.
Our parents continued fighting, and we kept getting dragged into it. I have no interest in the issue, but he keeps trying to bring it up, leading to small fights and witchy exchanges. My anxiety is through the roof, and I'm struggling to stay focused on school. I dread talking to him. I don't hate him, but I definitely don't love him. There's also the question of sponsoring him for immigration.
No.
My husband has never pushed me about sponsoring him and always says he'd be fine spending the rest of his life in his own country. My ugliest thought, though, is what if he's lying and only married me for the passport? I don't have any reason to believe this, but I also don't have a reason not to believe it either. I don't know if this marriage can work out.
It can't. It shouldn't.
Thank goodness you at least know that.
Well, yeah, like 2 months in, you're realizing this. I hope. Good. Good. I'm glad that you're not realizing this 10 years later.
First relationship, didn't even pick it.
Yeah.
Also becomes first marriage, didn't even decide on that. It's good that you have an innate sense that this feels
Yeah.
not good.
Like, a lot of people who are in first relationships don't realize this for a lot longer. So props to you for, like, spotting the
Yeah.
red flags early on.
Paraparuski. My parents have unequivocally said they'd support me if I chose to get divorced.
Oh, my God. I would be so mad.
I would be
I would be
fuming.
livid. If they came to me and said, like, we support you if you want to get divorced, I'd be like, I'm sorry. Didn't seem very supportive when I didn't want to marry him in the first place.
Well, at first, I think OP didn't really voice the fact that they didn't want to get married to this guy because of the pressure that they had already
Yeah.
put on her and sort of like, I'm sure it was more than just one conversation at 16. I'm sure it was for a long time. I would be so like, I deserve something every day for
Yeah, ever.
4 years and 2 months.
Yeah, you picked this guy.
I get to
I
take
didn't pick him. You picked him.
a plate full of shaving cream and like throw it at your face like a clown
Yep, every day.
every day for 4 years
Mhm.
because of the time and energy you've made me waste.
Yeah.
They told me I need to get to know him, and once I'm sure about him, then I can initiate the immigration process. But how do I get to know him? And how can we resolve all the issues we've gone through already?
You shouldn't.
And there's an update.
Divorce him. That's my advice. Divorce him. Your parents already said they would support you. Divorce him.
Yep, test their word. All right, then I want a divorce. They're like, well, no. We don't mean we'll support you right now. We'll support you if you like take even more time and get him immigration status papers and like get him into the country and get to know him more. And then once you still don't like him, then we'll let you get divorced.
No.
It's a fun fact. You actually don't need your parents to get divorced.
Nope. You can do it all by yourself.
Update. My husband and I have been together for approximately 7 months now.
No.
Long distance for 5 months with an 11-hour time difference. We were together in person for less than 2 months in his home country while I was on vacation. While we were in his country, he was perfectly sweet and funny, but once I returned to Canada, our relationship became strained, which is understandable given the distance.
Why are we still here? Why are we still here?
Wow.
Leave your
Why?
husband. Leave him.
You're turning me into sad Wario, OP.
Why?
Wow.
That's more like Jennifer Coolidge.
Why?
Wow.
Why?
Jennifer Cooler. Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this?
What are you doing? Oh my God, divorce him. I'm currently a full-time student with a job in my final year before applying for medical school, a goal I've worked towards for as long as I've been in school. I'm incredibly close to achieving it with a perfect GPA and great resume, making this last year crucial. I told him explicitly that there might be days I just couldn't talk to him, and that didn't mean I liked him any less. He said he understood. That was a lie. Meanwhile, he's in his final semester of undergrad after failing and retaking 2 courses and doesn't have a job. Initially, I called him every night before I went to sleep, but as my workload increased, I worked later and called later. Sometimes I was too tired to call, especially during midterms and finals. I'd communicate this via text. He'd say it was no problem. But then, when we talked, he'd be extremely passive-aggressive and sometimes verbally attack me over it. He'd criticize my timing, saying I called during his busy period and that he set aside work to talk to me, even though he refused to elaborate on what work he had, considering he admitted to never attending class and only showing up for exams.
Break up with him.
Are working tirelessly to become a doctor, and this guy is shirking his classes, drinking Mountain Dew all day.
What are you
playing
doing
Halo
with
3?
him? You gotta leave him.
Whoa, hey.
Reasonable, but
You gotta leave
very
him.
contrary to the way you would like to live your life.
Yeah, you're focused on your school, your career. You don't have time for this guy.
He'd attack me for only wanting to talk for an hour instead of 3 or 4?
3 or 4 hours on the phone?
Sweetie pie!
Oh,
Yeah?
well, you are doing full-time work?
I'm not made out of free time. Oh!
Made out of blood, sweat, and tears.
And this work I gotta do to be a doctor. God dang it!
Trying to be a doctor.
Which would mean going to bed at 4 a.m. and waking up at 7 a.m. I understand relationships require compromise, but he won't acknowledge that I'm trying my best. I feel he could afford to be more flexible given his responsibilities compared to mine at this stage in our lives. He doesn't speak English while I'm proficient in his language, so that's how we communicate. To keep in touch on days I couldn't call, I'd try to text him, but he'd always reply with non-conductive responses like, oh, and cool. So I stopped initiating text conversations. But then he'd attack me after periods of silence when I was busy, saying I don't try to contact him at all. I've pointed out how he doesn't make it easy to communicate that way, making it feel like a waste of time, but he refuses to see it. Girl, the way I would just freaking block this guy on everything and move on with my life.
Divorce him. Divorce him. Divorce him.
I would have, if I'm in medical school, losing my mind, I'm not letting anyone keep me up until 4 in the morning.
Also, Kim Roberts says 3 or 4 hours was typical for SOGs. To be clear, we're saying it's insane for him to demand 3 or 4 hours when she's in medical school.
Like final year, crunch year, everything needs to be
She
perfect.
doesn't have time.
Yeah.
And he's expecting 3 or 4 hours?
I talked to my girlfriend for like 4 hours yesterday. It was lovely.
That's fine.
That's not what it's about.
That's not what it's about.
About the overarching context.
Yeah.
He makes it clear he doesn't like anyone in my family, which hurts deeply because my parents loved him and treated him like their own son. It's really important to me that he and my family get along. He thinks my family acts too rich and that we look down on him for being poor. He thinks I put too much emphasis on him getting along with my family and that I should just be happy he likes me. We had a huge blowout in October where he essentially insulted me and my entire family. He was so angry and loud that I could put the phone on my desk, walk away, and still hear him from the earpiece. I was honestly terrified and refused to pick up his calls for 2 days. He called nonstop every 5 minutes for 2 days to apologize, even though I asked for space, so I had to shut down my phone to get away and think. He did apologize, saying he was completely wrong, but months later he brings up the same thing, claiming he was perfectly right and his only mistake was being a bit loud.
Divorce him, please. Divorce him.
I would like his full name and
Divorce
coordinates
him.
so I can just shake him and go,
Divorce him. Divorce him. Divorce him.
He tends to do this frequently. During our weekly fights, he brings up things I said in the past and twists my words. Once, he cursed me out, and when I called him on it, he said, oh, you didn't mean it that way. I was cursing you out in the good way, babe.
I know you love it when I do that.
Yeah, well, I thought you liked it. What? Sorry, I thought you liked it.
I hate you.
He claimed he said a bad word in his language, then tried to cover it up by saying he meant hair in a different related language. It was ridiculous because his sentence was essentially, I don't effing care. And then he claimed he said hair in the middle of the sentence in a language I don't speak instead of effing in the language we always converse in. OP, you weren't born yesterday.
He's lying
right?
to you so blatantly.
Do they let people who were born yesterday become doctors? No. So you
No.
know that he's lying to you.
You know he's a liar.
I dread talking to him because he doesn't try to carry conversations. and expects me to come up with something. I try to remember important details in his life, like his close friends and what they do, and I tell him about my own life. But he never asks insightful questions that indicate he cares for what's happening in my life. For example, I told him I'm involved with my academic union and we're planning an event I'm super stressed about. I'll tell him when it is and everything, but he never remembers to ask about it, unless I specifically message him saying, I can't call today, I'm busy with this event. Then he gets upset when I go silent during our calls because I can't think of what to say next. He's also been extremely pushy about sending him intimate photos and engaging in phone spiciness. I did it once, but felt so uncomfortable that I didn't want to do it anymore. Now he gets upset since I did it once, so he thinks it's because I don't like him anymore.
Which you shouldn't.
No, you should not like this man. He is very unlikable.
I don't even think you like him now. I don't think you've ever liked him. I haven't seen any evidence that you ever really liked him. Just kind of tolerated him for a time.
Then he goes off on me for being frigid. And by the way, it's never frigid when you join us live on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, or Twitch. Every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, just tap on our profile. There's another relevant update. And by that, I mean there's a little bit more story.
Divorce him. That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
Final offer, divorce this man and live a beautiful life, becoming a doctor, which is your dream come
Your
true.
dream. Be a rich doctor.
And just like let your parents support you. See if your parents are even telling the truth.
Yeah. Test them.
Divorce this man and see how stinky they get. Hopefully it's 0%.
Hopefully no stink.
So, we had another misunderstanding recently. I think your whole marriage is a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I didn't call for 2 days because I was busy. He called me at work several times, and when I called him back after work, we had a brief, tense conversation. I asked for some space, but he continues calling frequently and sending messages about seeing me active on social media. It's making me feel stressed about using my phone normally. On the days we aren't fighting, however, he's honestly really sweet and supportive. Oh, girl!
Stop. Stop.
You
Stop.
have never been in a relationship. There are
Girl.
plenty of men who are sweet and supportive and also aren't the worst guy ever.
Please. Come on, girl. Come on.
Don't let common decency get in the way
Don't
of
let him.
blinding
Yeah.
you.
Don't let him be nice one day a week, one day every month.
He's nice once in a blue moon. That makes him good
No,
enough.
no. No.
No.
Shoo, shoo, shoo.
But the bad days are making me think twice. Make it thrice, 4 times,
Think
5
more-
times.
Let's think more about this.
Think 100 million times.
Don't think twice.
I guess my question is, are we doomed?
Yes.
Or am I overreacting?
No.
Is this
No.
normal?
No.
No.
Are you doomed?
Divorce.
Y'all should
You
be
aren't
doomed.
doomed. You aren't doomed.
Your relationship is doomed.
Your relationship done.
Cast it into the fire.
Into the fire, and then go be a doctor. Thrive, girl.
Yes.
Thrive.
Are you overreacting? You're actually
Underreacting.
really severely underreacting, I
Underreacting.
think.
Was I rushing or was I dragging?
Is this normal?
No.
Unfortunately, for some people, yes. But it doesn't
you-
have to be normal for you.
Let's not make it.
You
normal.
don't have to normalize being in a terrible relationship with somebody.
There's so many other better ones. So many other better ones. So let's find a better one.
It doesn't have to be your normal. That's for sure.
Agreed. But that's the end of that story.
That is the end of that story.
I was almost trapped in an arranged marriage.
Get out.
I grew up in a cult that believed, among other things, that women were property of men
Yikes.
and children were property of the parents. So, as an unmarried daughter, I was basically a cherished slave. By the way, this comes from I Know This Name Is Taken, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley,
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you know in the comments down below. OP continues. I ran the house, meal planned, cooked, and even homeschooled my youngest siblings, all while trying to homeschool myself through high school. Oh my gosh. Oh,
That's a lot of work for you.
Holy cow. Having grown up my whole life this way, I didn't even know the law would have been on my side if I had decided to defy my parents and move out when I turned 18. My parents constantly reminded me that until they gave me away to a husband, I was their child and would obey them as the mouthpieces of God in my life. One day, my parents told me they had received a phone call from another family we knew. Their oldest son had noticed me and wanted permission to court me.
He's like, I noticed her from around the farm.
She was
'Cause they're
shoveling.
probably not cold. I don't know. They probably have a farm.
She was shoveling that shit, and I was like, I wanted her to
I
be
wanted
mine.
her. I knew then that I wanted her.
So, per protocol, the parents would talk to each other and then talk to their kids and arrange the whole thing. My mom was beaming with pride, but I thought about it and said I didn't want to do it. Mom's smile disappeared and she cried, "What? Why?" I gave her my reasons. Very good ones, I thought. My mom wasn't satisfied and told me I was not allowing God to work in my life and that I should just obey them and trust that God's will would be done. God's wills it. Remember the kingdom of heaven?
Great movie.
God wills it!
Being the good girl I was, I relented and said yes. Dude, just sorry, real quick. This is not what God's purpose is for you, and these people are using religion to keep you into their cult, and it is
Yep.
just such a sad thing, and I'm sorry, OP, that
And
you
how
went
old
through
is OP
this.
now?
She is 18.
Yeah, it's hard. It's going to be really hard, but I do think that like breaking away from your parents and this, upbringing and this community, it will probably be the best thing for you.
Crazy people. Then followed awkward family gatherings between our two houses because this version of courtship never allowed for the couple to be alone together. I tried to ease the tension by telling funny stories and encouraging other family members to talk, but only received stern rebukes from his mother, who very clearly did not approve of me. I love how you were trying to make light of a situation. No one's following along. It just shows how messed up the system is. How about that dog that jumped over the cat the other day, huh?
Yeah, and they're like, no, you're marrying that boy.
Once she said, "We don't believe in practical jokes,
What?
so we are not impressed by that
That's
story."
so lame. We don't like jokes or laughter. But next,
man.
try again.
Another time, she stated, I only had 2 requirements for the girl he chose. First, that she came from a good family, and second,
That she never made a practical joke.
that she knew her Bible. Close. And you have both of those, so I'm not going to say anything.
Seems like you already said something.
I was confused at feeling so rejected when I didn't even want this in the first place. When I got the job offer as a church receptionist, my parents told me his parents had called and said they did not approve of women working outside the home and didn't want me to take the job.
Dang. This
But
is
she's
not something-
working for the church.
Too much. Any job. You can't win, girl.
We believe the same way, except it was after the woman was a mother. Before she had kids, it was up to her father or husband whether she could work. Since my father allowed it, but the guy I was courting didn't, my parents told me to call him to get his permission too. But that's funny because according to these rules,
Yeah.
don't you have to be married to him first?
Yeah, according to these rules, it was the dad who still has the final say. So, what's going on now?
If you're in a cult, don't pick and choose the rules. Keep them.
Stop being hypocritical.
At least have some decency to keep your own rules.
Maybe have the same set of rules.
That's my favorite thing about cults. When the leader wants to do that, they can do whatever they want. It's like a board game that they made up, their own rules.
Nina Nelson says, I don't think they read the regular Bible in that cult.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I thought that phone call went well. He basically said he was not my husband yet, and I should follow my own family rules. Okay.
Perfect. At least he's on the same page. He's like, I thought the cult rules was that your dad took care of everything right now. I'm not your husband.
So I happily accepted the job. The next day, my parents told me his parents had called and canceled the whole relationship.
Oh no, bummer. That's so sad.
It felt weird to get dumped without ever hearing from the guy that dumped me. But it solved my problem, and I moved on and focused and definitely not in the mood for anyone else to court me. 2 years later, at 19, I still wasn't married, and his family thought that meant God was saving me for him. The whole scenario repeated itself. But this time, my dad insisted that the guy court him first so he could decide if he was even good enough for me before my heart got broken again. What does that mean?
The dad where it comes in like a parasol and he goes, oh, wow, you're going to open the door for me? Wow, thank you.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
The dad courting the dude?
I don't know what that means.
What? My dad told them until he made a decision. He did not want any of them to contact me. The guy decided no contact couldn't possibly mean letters, so he wrote me a 5-page apology for dumping me 2 years before, confessing that he had been falling in love with me and wanted to know if it was worth his time to get to even know my dad. That's kind of sweet.
That's nice. Did you ever have a conversation with him besides the one time you were like,
Can I work this
and he
job?
was like, yeah, I guess so. It was fine with me.
My parents confiscated the letter and explained the whole thing. I was honestly insulted that a guy I had barely seen in 2 years would say he loved me, but doubt if it was even worth his time to follow my family's requirements to court me, especially after his family made me feel like trash the last time. We agreed to meet at a local restaurant to decide if we would even want to try it again. I sat on one side of the table with my parents on either side of me. He sat on the other side with his parents on either side of him. It felt like we had lawyers. His dad immediately started yelling at my dad for denying his son and saying it was so obvious that I wanted this, that he was holding me back. My dad is a quiet man, and he sat there like an angry stone while this man yelled in his face in the middle of the restaurant. Imagine if it was like Chili's.
Yeah.
You got this like little cult family yelling at each other, and
And you're
Chili's
like,
workers like, so you guys want like
"You
that?
gonna- we have a special today?
You guys down
Okay."
for the unlimited margs or not? Some people are asking what kind of cult this is.
We don't know.
Just a cult,
Cult,
a Christian cult, not
something
sure.
like that.
It got so heated and embarrassing, the guy who liked me excused himself to the bathroom to throw up.
Oh, dang. He says, so sorry, I need to throw up. I gotta go throw up.
Because he probably thinks this is his wife, and it's
Yeah.
so much stress, everything's going wrong, so he's like,
yeah.
got sick. While he's gone, his dad said if we didn't accept a son, there might never be another guy to come along and marry me. This made me laugh because I wasn't that desperate to just accept the first guy to ask because I was scared no one else would. I didn't care if I ever got married or not, even though I didn't dare tell anyone that. The evening ended with an agreement that we would pick up where we left off. We thought that meant more courtship. They thought they already did courtship, so now it was an agreement to get engaged.
Oh, okay. All right, then. I guess it's what your parents want is working out.
Okay, or what their parents want? I don't know.
I don't know what's going on here.
The mistake quickly revealed itself a few days later when another guy friend emailed my dad and asked permission to court me. My dad told me I should tell the first guy and ask if I could stay friends with someone who liked me, but who I had rejected. First guy came up with what I thought was a good plan. My dad would tell me the new guy that I was already courting someone else. Then I could introduce him to some of my other friends, and maybe he would leave on his own. My dad spent the evening writing a tactful reply to the new guy.
What is this?
This is
I'm
such a
so confused.
crazy
Because,
TV
okay,
show.
so you didn't want to marry this guy, but now you're kind of cool with it and you're marrying this guy. And also his family's like, no one else is ever going to marry you. Another guy shows up, is like, hey, I want to marry you. And then you're like, oh, what do I do? Oh, well, I can't tell him no outright. So we have to come up with a plan.
And the guy that you're about to marry is helping you create
Yeah.
a plan?
Like, what? Just say not interested. Or I'm about to marry this other guy. Sorry, I'm in a relationship.
What is going on?
Who are these people?
Oh, here we go. But now the first guy was aware that I had friends who were not female. Their family believed guys and girls should never be just friends. So I was essentially cheating on him with 20 other guys. He called me the next
Oh,
morning,
Lord.
6 days after I had agreed to his courtship, and asked my permission to ask my dad's permission to ask me to marry him.
This is ridiculous. There's too many middlemen in this.
Basically, the lamest over-the-phone proposal ever. He said he was in love with me, and we didn't have to get married right away, but that I would just be his and have a ring on my finger so no one could take me away from him. I told him I was flattered that he thought he loved me, and I wish I could say I loved him back, but I didn't. It had only been 6 days, and I hadn't even decided how I felt about him yet.
6 days! After 2 years of not talking to you.
He likes the idea of you, Opie.
Yeah.
And you were doing the smart thing, and you've realized you don't like him, not the idea of him. His voice changed instantly, and he angrily snapped, asking if I was still talking to the other guy who also liked me. I was shocked. I'd never seen this side of him before. That's why it should take longer than 6 days to find a spouse, kids.
Yeah.
But Riley, what if I'm in a cult?
But Riley, have you thought about me being in the cult? Take a little more time and get out of this cult. Please.
I was like, get out of this cult first.
Yeah. First, get out of the cult.
Then break up with the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried telling him that my dad had only just replied to his email, and I hadn't had a chance to introduce him to my friends yet. He insisted that wasn't the plan we had claimed we had agreed, and I wouldn't talk to him anymore. I shut him down and told him I was only doing what he had told me to do. We weren't engaged yet, and I had talked to lots of guys without it meaning anything romantic because we were just friends. His voice quieted down, but still sounded bitter as he said that if I couldn't agree to not talk to any other boys and only talk to him, maybe we shouldn't call this courting right now. I agreed that maybe we shouldn't. We agreed that I would take a week to think about it and call him when I've made my decision. Marry him and forsake all the male friends I had known since I was 5, or cut off the relationship for a second time. I told my parents what happened, and they tried to convince me just do what he wanted. But I finally yelled at them for the first time in my life that I was not going to go marry anyone I did not love.
Good. Tell him. Finally tell him.
My dad was angry, but Mom sent me to my room and said we could talk about it later. I had a week after all. I was very sad. The only reason I was considering it was because my parents insisted that it was God's will, and I really wanted to do what God said. But at the same time, this family seemed even more strict than my own, and I would miss all my old friends.
Girl, get out of there.
This is not what God wants for you.
Your parents don't know anything about God. Get out of there.
They only know it from the middleman that's talking to them about God.
The cult leader.
About an hour later, I got 2 calls from the guy's mother, which I let go to voicemail. Next thing I know, my little brother came up holding the house phone saying it was the guy's mom, and she demanded to talk to me. She scolded me for a long time, saying I had cheated on her son and that he had called off work because he was worried sick over asking me to marry him. She all but called me a harlot because of all the guys I was talking to. While I tried to tell her I was not in a relationship with any of them, she accused me of cheating on him and claimed I was in a relationship with every person I met.
That's just pretty difficult, time-wise, to manage.
I think you're really thinking about how that would work out.
Yeah.
I tried to explain that not every relationship is a romantic one, but she insisted that between guys and girls, they always were. She used her marriage as an example, saying her husband was her best friend and that she would never talk to other men, and neither would my mom. I told her that wasn't true because my mom talked to other men all the time and was friends with lots of people. She said she was shocked and honestly thought better of my mother than that. She then demanded to know why I needed 7 days to pray about whether or not to marry her son. She claimed God doesn't take that long to answer prayer and that it sounded like I already knew how I felt, but was just too scared to say it. And God does take longer to answer prayers. He does. Jacob and Rachel. Oh my.
Yeah.
This woman doesn't read a Bible.
I think they probably have their own Bible.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They got their own version. These people are going to say whatever they want to try and keep you under their control. That's kind of the whole point.
And OP, if you know your Bible so well, if you have the right Bible, tell them about the relationship between Jacob and Rachel. Jacob worked 7 years for his wife, and they got married to Rachel's sister, and then he worked another 7 years for his wife, Rachel. Kind of funny. It was actually kind of traumatic. Okay, so she insisted it would take a day or 2 at the most. No, it wouldn't. I told her that her son had agreed to let me have a week, and if he couldn't do that, then the answer was no. She said we shouldn't be too hasty. I thought, who's being hasty? I wanted a week. She then told me to go talk to her son and her husband to see what they wanted to do. I hung up the phone and threw it across the room. I'd never been accused of anything like that before. I curled up in a ball and cried. My mother heard me and came to see what was wrong. I told her everything that horrible woman said to me. I stated firmly that I never wanted to see anyone from that family again. She called my dad up, and he was angry about me being accused of being a harlot, but told me I was not allowed to make my decision until the week was up, because that was what I'd agreed to. I just silently told myself they could all think what they wanted, but I knew my answer was no, and it would still be no in a week from now. But in a week from now, you can listen to more stories just like this, actually for 75 days straight. Just look up OK Storytime on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Spotify, and you'll see that. Man, wow.
I want Riley to infiltrate a cult.
Dude, I would pick that thing apart so fast.
And then they would kick you out of the cult. They'd be like, this guy knows too much.
Not after I save
Him
all
out.
the children
Yeah, you take the
And-
children.
and women
The women and
and
the
leave
children.
all the men to themselves. Maybe the good guys that actually like,
Yeah, they're like, wait, you're actually making some sense there.
yeah.
This guy's spitting facts.
OP, it really doesn't feel like OP. I mean, she's young, but again, she doesn't seem to see that she's in a bad situation. She's just kind of focusing on, I'm going to get married to this guy I don't
Yeah.
love.
I think in this story, she knows she's in a cult, but she's just telling from her perspective of that. like,
Yeah.
how ridiculous it is. And like, if your parents loved you, they wouldn't want you to be a part of this family because like, that's just crazy. Cause like, I don't know, if they raise you a certain way, they wouldn't want you to be with people that like are just so hateful.
So, yeah, different.
Okay, so OP continues. He called the family back and told them none of them were to contact me in any way for the whole week. And when I had my decision, he would call them and let them know what it was. They were angry, but they never contacted me again. Almost 2 years later, I married the new guy who had emailed my dad. Remember him? He was not a member of our cult. And he taught me how to think for myself. Our
Nice.
courtship looked like a lot more like dating than anything and made a lot of people upset. But we didn't care. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary, and we have 3 sons. I feel like I was rescued.
Okay.
Wow.
Sick. Nice. You got out of there.
Dang.
Happy ending. Wow.
Imagine if that email went to spam.
Yeah, man.
But God allowed that email.
Yeah.
It hit the inbox.
And
But
there
God
you
allowed
go.
it to hit the inbox.
I'm glad it all worked out for you, OP.
Holy cow. Dude, nothing gets under my skin more than Christian cults. I'll tell you that. That I could go in a pulpit right now and just go at it.
Go at 'em.
Gosh.
But that's the end of that story and the end of this episode. So if you love us,
Wait.
what?
I read.
Yeah, I was waiting and then you didn't say anything.
I
You
thought
are
you had
red.
other things to say.
No.
So that's the end of that episode. And if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.